All right, so starting to put parts back in the Argo, and so I've got. I threw some of the wheels up against it. My grandson's coming down, and he's only 2, and he won't understand what the chassis is. But you throw some wheels next to it, and it makes a little more sense to a 2-year-old. Push it, Nana. Wow, there it goes. So yeah, so I'm just putting some parts in. Got the motor and transmission, transmission mount. I'm gonna throw the differential in. I'm gonna put the big parts on, the headers and that, just so I can run wiring and know where the wiring can go. And yeah, I put some wiring in for the actuators. And I'm gonna keep trying to think of what wiring I need ahead of time. I'm gonna put a light bar up top on that top roll bar. So I'm gonna have to run some wiring up there. But yeah, for today, I'm gonna put that differential back together and the brakes and see what other small parts, maybe the rad, just so I know what's going to interfere with wiring and what wiring I got to put in it. Electric fans, so I'll have to run some wiring back for electric fans, that kind of stuff. So the differential is out of a Dodge Charger, was independent rear suspension. So I just pretty much took the first constant velocity and welded this ring on, and it goes in the back of the rotors like that, and then goes in. So that's what I gotta do. I gotta mount those. Yes, that's correct. Trying to remember if that's the way it goes or not. I think it goes like that. Yes, more like that. Yes. And I still haven't completely figured out what bolts I'm going to use. They need to be something like this. I didn't like these too much. They're too tall here. These are lower. They had a fully tapered head on them. But I'm going to just stick a couple of these in each for now. And see if there's any interference problems. And then I'll figure it out from there. So the differential is actually upside down. So the vent is here, which is just going to dump oil out of it. So I got to make a big J and attach it to this. I think I might have to thread that with a pipe fitting and then just run it up here. And that's the only way I can get it to spin the right direction. Sounds like the dogs found a squirrel. I go see what they're up to. Nope, just the neighbor kids up against the fence. All right, I can't tell you how heavy that thing's got. Boy. Okay, so I'm gonna haul it down to the front end and drop it in place. Wow. That's close enough. Get those in backwards. Well, I've put the rotors on backwards, so I'm gonna lift it out, throw it on that bucket, and swap the rotors around. Okay. Goes in like that. Yeah, like that. Whew. All right. So a couple bolts mount back here. And there's a threaded rod here that levels it. So I get some bolts in place. Okay. So that is kind of all right. So that is kind of sort of in place. Yeah. These bolts back here are too long to go into the casting, so I gotta get shorter bolts. So I haven't got the pads. The pads are there. I haven't got them on here, but I just wanted to set these up. So I don't remember which is which. So the calipers are off of a Ford Focus. Front end is Chrysler Charger. Rotors are off of a Ford Focus as well. Yeah, this is the way I planned it. Brake line's coming up this way. That seems right. All right, had to make a little adjustment. It's working good now, but gotta get a little shot of paint. Had the radius this here out a little bit. It was touching the rotor, and wouldn't allow it to sit down deep enough to put the bolts in. But now, all right, okay. So they're looking pretty good. I'm going to grab the brake pads out and put the pads on just to make sure there's no other problems. Dry shaft. Dry shaft is here. So it goes in. Just a little short guy. Goes in there. I'm going to have to pull that out again to get the right size bolts for the differential, so I'm not going to get too much stuff tightened up now. I just wanted to see where and what the battery box, run the big cables. So this will give me an idea. What else do I need? So I need a fuel tank, battery box, and I'm going to put the headers on, so I know to keep the wiring away from the headers and the rad. So just those big parts, and then do the wiring. That's going to take me a little while. Run some hoses, transmission lines, rad hoses, fuel lines, brake lines. Get everything all routed up. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna plan my next step. All right, so assembly continues, and we're gonna put the header on this side. I got some sealer, thread sealer, and headers. Mostly just putting these on so that I can make sure any wiring clears. I want to route the wiring as tidy as possible, and of course want to avoid the headers if I can. Couple bolts in here to get it started. I just run a tap through all of these holes so I knew they were clean. There's one down here at the end that was previously stripped out, and a bigger thread, bigger bolt is in there. These, I guess, are all 3/8, and that last one is something different. That last one is 7/16. Yes, they're all 3/8, and one is 7/16. Yeah, I don't know which one's long enough to do the job, but we'll set some there for now. When I built these headers, I had 1/2-inch thick flange, so they're pretty rigid, but all the bolts have to be a little bit longer than standard header flange bolts. 2-inch pipe I got from Summit, I think. So I already had this header halfway on, and then I realized this one at the end was re-drilled bigger and the hole wasn't bigger, so I had to take it off and re-drill the hole. So some of these guys have already got sealer on them. Let's see, maybe we get a ratchet. Maybe. Yeah. The dipstick is in the way. Poor planning. I guess before I get anything tight, snug, should have them all started. That's pretty basic stuff. That's going to be 5/8, of course. All right, yep, so I got all the bolts in there. Well, not all of them. This back one here is the one that is oversized. But yeah. Yeah, so the alternator wiring is going to come across there. And maybe electric choke and distributor actually is closer to the back. But yeah, there might be some other stuff eventually. Electric fan, maybe some lights on the back. So I'm gonna figure out where that's gonna run. and not get tangled up in the chains and the shafts. So yeah, gonna have to sort that out. I don't know if I can put a tube, piece of conduit, run it in. I don't know, but it's got to go from the battery box. It's going to be up in this area in the dash, so it's going to come across and all the way back here and have branches that shoot out. I guess that's the plan. Anyhow, I'm going to get the header on this side too, and start thinking about that wiring. All right, so we've dug the carburetor out of a box. Gonna throw it on. New gasket. The throttle bracket back there as well. I don't know what I've done there. Okay, that looks reasonable. Vacuum. Does it come around this way? Nope. This way. I kind of like that. So fuel line, return spring. I don't know. There was probably supposed to be a pedestal here somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find it. This would have been a great time to run the roll bars up out of the way. Now I got them wired. Oh well. Super, okay. Throttle cables on. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know if that's going to be a hand throttle or a foot throttle yet. We'll see. Still a lot of things to solve. Alright, I'm gonna see if I get that pedestal fist spring. And I remember seeing it. Something like that. One inside another, right? Right? I don't know why. I'm sure it's because of engineers. I don't know. I'll have to look. Yeah. Pretty happy with that. So we can look at some wiring and routing some stuff. Yeah. All right, we'll figure out what we're going to do next.